Here we have a collection of SGIs. We have an Indigo here. This is just a regular R3000 model. Adorable thing, I love it dearly. I've never actually powered it up. I only actually got a keyboard converter for it recently, and I've never brought it home because it's on the big Onyx in town in my office. I have a pair of, these are solid impacts. I have a max impact Indigo 2 upstairs, an Indie, and collection of laptops, random XT monitor. Oh look, an LC, which matches the monitor, that is, matches this XT here. This is a Magma PCI bus expander. You have a PCI 64 card that goes in your host computer, and you connect it to the back of this, and this has another 6 PCI slots in it. This I got from my wife's grandfather, Norand, and I'm not actually sure what it is. So, you know, anybody knows, again, I'd sure love to hear from somebody. We have cables, 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 cereal. I'm glad I found those, actually. I was looking for all of those. At the bottom we have some HP Apollos. Actually, just the one, it looks like. I have a couple more in the office. I use them, I think I showed you in the other video, as a step stool. Above it, this is the Apollo here, and this is a frame buffer that goes with the Apollo. Down here is an external drive for it. And these are drive sleds for the Apollos in town. And below that, right on the bottom there, if you can see it, is an Epson QX10, which is a really adorable little Z80 based word processor, and I think it runs CPM, but maybe it only does the word processor. Unfortunately, the monitor had a minor accident and dropped and bounced the 3 feet from a desk and kind of croaked. Keyboards, lots of keyboards. Keyboard for the QX10, Sun. This is for my Xerox with its little koala pad there. This is, on the bottom part here, an IBM Series 1 rack. The IBM Series 1 was an industrial controller. We have the actual unit itself. If you'll give me a second, I'll see if I can crack the front panel off for extreme close-up. So inside the card cage, we have, you know, the parts that obviously make up the Series 1, but you can stick in your digital I/O controllers and analog to digital converters, digital analog converters. 8-inch floppy drive. This did have a big hard disk in it, a Series 1 hard disk, which sat below it. Unfortunately, somebody had already taken it apart, and so it was badly damaged. This here is the head mechanism from that drive. That there is the brake, actually, to slow the spinning platter spindle down. This here is a VME card cage. You can see the VME bus in the back there, and a really adorable 19-inch, 19-inch rack mount cabinet here. And these are all Sun 360 mainboards, 5 of them. I've got no clue what it was used for. I've never attempted to power it up. I assume it works, but frankly, I'm a bit afraid, and who else has 5 spare Sun 360 mainboards? On top here we have a Cubix, and these are kind of odd, and I don't know, I don't hear much about them, but what it is it suggests up there, fault tolerant. It has 8 IBM 486 single board computers, and beside each one is an ISO slot, so you stick in a network card or whatever, and there's a bank of hard disks that sit in behind here, so each SBC has its own hard disk, and then they, supervisor, that's for the controller card, they multiplex, as it says, look, over this floppy drive. So when one of them wants to use a floppy drive, it steals the drive control, and all the rest of them wait until it becomes available. It's kind of slick. This one does work, and I have Beowulfed it, but it's sort of relegated to the top of the cabinet for now for space. We have monitor hell. Well, look, a Dell. What a surprise. Now let me suck back around here. See my lovely beams here to stop my bottom floor coming into my basement. Sun, Mac. That is a serial terminal actually. This is an Apollo, which is a rebranded Sony GDM, which goes to the Sun 110, the 3110. Commodore CBM, Sun, Dell. This is the IBM monitor that goes to the 5324 behind me. This is a bunch of floppy disks that I got with a Commodore hole. All up, that's some of them, but I have about 1500 Commodore floppies overall. PC, Mac, blah 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 blah. I don't know why I ended up with so many PC monitors. I think, you know, I kind of get a small one that I kind of like, and then it dies on me, and I get another one, I kind of like it, you know, for fiddling around and testing, and then it dies on me. On the end there, on its side, is the QX10 monitor, and you wouldn't know it, but I mean that it had bounced 4 feet off the ground. But this is an Xerox 860 IPS. This goes with the keyboard I showed you before with the little koala pad, and it has a portrait monitor sitting on top of it. This is an extremely large word processor. I picked it up from a chap in Minnesota who had named it Marvin after the Douglas Adams creature. I have never used this as well. This is one of the very few ones that I really have never gone near, and the primary reason is that it has 4 big capacitors in its linear power supply that are the size of footballs, and I'm sure it's fine, but if one of those went up, it would take half the house with it, and I'm just not willing to, you know, take those kinds of risks. So we'll just let it sit there. One of these days I'll get to it. In the corner here, well, those are actually parts to my Triumph GT6, so we'll ignore that. Printer, that goes to the Xerox. This here contains Beowulf parts actually. You can see random boards, network cards, video cards, and there's PC cards there. I have just shy of 200 main boards between these 3 buckets here and the stack that's up behind there and other places in the house, although most of them tend to be like low Pentium class or 486s. But one of these days I will have a great Beowulf. It will be, you know, slower than hell in comparison to everything else, but it will be a Beowulf, and a big one, so everyone should have goals. Along with my Commodore monitors here, we have the guts of my Sun E10000. The E10000's up in my brother-in-law's garage because I don't have anywhere to put it. It's just simply so large. And where I can put, as you've seen, the IBM SP and the Onyx are in my office, the E10000 is actually about 3 inches too wide for the door, so I can't take it to the office like I have everything else. And what we have here are, as it's just got fan packs. I think those are power regulators down there. These I believe are sequencing boards to bring the system up. We've got these take lines voltage in, output 48 volt DC. I think these, what are these? I'm not as familiar with the E10000 as other things because I'm yet to fiddle with them. But these are the node boards. Each of these contains 4 466 megahertz Spark processors, and I have, as you can see, quite a few of them. I have 16, so 64 466 megahertz Spark processors, fully stacked. They also contain an appropriate number of RAM, so we have 64 gigs as well as 64 processors. Anyways, one of these days we'll get her sorted. I just don't quite have the 4 20 amp drops required to bring it up just yet. So that's kind of about it. This has been a rambling, waffling one, and it is just my basement. It's not that impressive, but I thought I'd at least throw something up, and maybe I can get to something a little more interesting shortly. Maybe like my discussions with the 1134. I hope you guys have a good one. Take care.